I travel a lot for work. Not the glamorous kind of travel. No resorts, no beach views. Just long drives, cheap hotels, and quick overnight stays before heading out again. So when I pulled into that hotel, I didn't think much of it. It looked normal. Not new, but not run down either. A quiet 2-story building off the highway, with a flickering sign and maybe 6 or 7 cars in the parking lot. I just needed a place to sleep. That's it. The lobby was empty when I walked in. No music, no TV, just the faint hum of fluorescent lights overhead. There was a bell on the counter, but before I could ring it, somebody spoke. Checking in? I turned and saw a man standing behind the desk. He looked ordinary. Middle-aged, neutral expression, the kind of face you forget immediately. I nodded and gave him my name. He typed slowly, like he was making sure every letter was exactly right. Then he handed me a key. Room 214. Breakfast is from 6 to 9, he said. Then he paused. And one more thing. I was ready to turn and leave, but his tone made me stop. No one is allowed to leave the hotel after midnight. I let out a small laugh. Like the doors lock or something? He didn't smile. You can leave your room, he said, but you cannot leave the building. There was a long pause. And if you hear knocking, he added, do not open the door. I stared at him for a second, waiting for the joke. It didn't come. Okay, I said slowly. Have a good night. I should have left right then. I know that now. But at the time, I just assumed it was some weird attempt at a joke. Or maybe a way to discourage late-night checkouts. So I turned and went to my room. Room 214 was at the end of the hallway. The carpet muffled my footsteps, and the lights overhead buzzed softly. Everything felt quiet. Inside the room is exactly what you'd expect. Bed, TV, bathroom, nothing unusual. I dropped my bag, checked my phone, and sat on the edge of the bed. No signal. Of course. I turned on the TV, just for some background noise, but the channels were limited. Static on most of them. The few that worked showed old reruns, nothing recent. By the time I laid down, it was already close to midnight. I remember checking the clock. 11:27 p.m. I don't remember falling asleep, but I remember waking up. The room was dark, the TV had turned off, and there was a sound. Knocking. 3 knocks. I froze. I glanced at the clock. 2:14 a.m. My first thought was the front desk. Maybe something was wrong. Maybe they needed to tell me something. Then I remembered what the man said. If you hear knocking, don't open the door. I sat up slowly. The knocking came again. Same pattern. Hello? I called out. Silence. Then, room service. The voice was off. Flat. I didn't order anything, I said. There was a pause. Then the voice responded. Yes, you did. My stomach dropped. "I think you have the wrong room," I said quickly. Another pause. Longer this time. Then, "No," the voice said. "This is the right room." The doorknob rattled slightly. I didn't move. After a few seconds, the knocking stopped. I stayed awake for a long time after that, just staring at the door, waiting, listening. Eventually, the silence became heavy. That's when I heard something else. Footsteps. Out in the hallway. Slow but heavy. They moved by my door, then stopped, right outside. The door handle turned, just a little, like someone was testing it. Then nothing. The footsteps continued down the hall. Around 2 a.m. I made a decision. I didn't care what the man at the front desk said. I was leaving. I grabbed my bag, walked to the door, and unlocked it. The hallway was empty. I walked quickly towards the stairs. When I reached the lobby, I stopped. The front door was gone. Not locked, not blocked, gone. In its place was just a wall, like it had always been there. I stared at it, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. Guests are not allowed to leave after midnight. The voice came from behind me. I turned. The man from the front desk was standing there. I didn't even hear him approach. "You should return to your room," he said calmly. "This isn't funny," I said. "Where's the exit?" He tilted his head slightly. "You checked in," he said. "That means you stay." "For how long?" I asked. He didn't answer. Instead, he looked past me, down the hallway. I followed his gaze. At the far end of the corridor, something moved. A figure, tall and thin, standing just outside the reach of the light. It didn't move, it didn't speak, it just watched. "You don't want to be out here," the man said quietly. I didn't argue. I went back to my room, locked the door, and waited. I don't know when I finally fell asleep, but when I woke up, it was morning. Sunlight shone through the curtains, and the TV was back on. Everything was normal. I packed my things and left immediately. The front desk was empty again, but this time the door was there. I walked out without looking back and told myself it was a dream. Stress, exhaustion. But as I reached my car, I noticed something. A receipt tucked under my windshield. I picked it up. Room 214. One night, paid in full. At the bottom, there was a handwritten note. "Thank you for staying. See you again tonight." I don't travel at night anymore, and I never check into hotels without asking one question first. What happens after midnight? Because sometimes they answer, and sometimes they don't.